Mm-hmm. Make joke. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, very good. Now we studied all this, how to meditate Vajrasattva, how we can to purify all our negative obscurations, and how to visualize the Vajrasattva. And now it is the next, it's a verse is saying, at the end, when you are like purification is finished, you wash up all your obscurations, the end, emerging that Lord of the Death, embodiment of the past actions. This is like the embodiment of the past action means like kind of whatever we act on the past and some negative, harmful actions, and then it's like we need to repay. Of course, there are not really sentient beings, but this is the nature of the causalities. Then it's like naturally or like in factly they're occurring, unavoidable. And therefore it's like when we birth, old age, sickness, death is like kind of the embodiment of the past actions. Very difficult to avoid, unavoidable. And also we done some negative things on the past. The obscuration is inevitably there. And this inevitable like obscuration or that we need to purify it. And that is, we say kind of the Lord of the Death, but actually it is the embodiment of the past action. And all these others below the earth, every kind of the karmic creditors, we learned, we like kind of the need to pay back to something. What we are like a karmic creditor did through the body, through the speech, through the like mentally, like the past our action is the 10 negative actions. These things are made like kind of the karmic credit, is like kind of the habitual patterns dirty into our mind as they left. And all those who are sick, like a kind of the vegans on your the flesh, or appeased and satisfied, whoever like kind of seeking revenge to us, whatever they are kind of looking for us to pay, we need to pay back, like kind of the flesh or blood or thing, any kind of like principally we are now doing the virtual things to pay back. No more anymore like there's a karmic creditors. We don't want, and we pay back, and they are become the appeased, quiet, and kind of the they said I'm sufficient. Your payback is fully I am appeased and satisfied. And this kind of we need to think how it is they satisfied, because past scores have been settled, and scores that have been scored. This is like kind of the karmic creditor you pay back, and then it's like the recycle is you already finished. That means debts have been repaid, and maybe we are like kind of the launched or rent or borrowed, and like kind of karmic credit did, maybe through the body, like kind of we killed, we ate it, sentient beings, drink blood, this sort of repayment, we like kind of this debts have been repaid, and then it's like the revenge has been appeased. And also it's like the kind of the vengeance is like the how do you say, it's like revenger. Maybe sometimes we killed other sentient beings, father, mother, and children and relative families. Of course they are very, very sad, angry, like same as we are. If someone, our families, some others killed or like did bad things, how much we are angry, we are sad. Exactly like this. Then we all the time thinking revenge. Also we done something, also they want to revenge to us. Now it's like they revenged because we paid back to their virtue through the purification of the nectar of the Vajrasattvas. We repaid, they can revenge it to us, and these revengers are is absolutely appeased, and also all your cleansed of all the past negative action, absolutely, and obscurations. You know, it's like negative action is the doer of the obscurations. Obscuration is the consequence of the negative actions. Negative actions is like, for instance, when you look at the science says like sending electricity. You send the electricity here ball, outside you touch something, to touch coming back, going like this. Then sometimes in the behind there is electric energies, something kind of there's tendencies. Like this is each kind of the body speech actions, negative actions. Then this one is like a result, how to say, it's like there are something making the obscuration, to make the dirty on the mirror of the our basic consciousness of the all, like ground of the all. And like this, then is the death closed, the under the earth close, and death, Lord of death, mouth is close, and this mouth and hand and lower his arms, everything is like kind of the slowly to satisfied, appeased, and like kind of contentment, and then close, and also earth close against. Then it's like imagine that your body has now become transparent, inside and outside. There is like kind of the everything is become the penetrated like kind of the crystals. There is nothing kind of the left any obscuration externally or insidely. Body of the light, like kind of the roaming vertically down inside it, the angle. What you wrong into your this is like kind of the running vertically down inside it. Maybe it's talking about like kind of inner this central channel. Visualize the central channel, that is like in the middle of our body. There is kind of the central channel, and also connect to the in the both side, and Roma and Joma, red and white, another truth. These three very important channels on the body. This at 4 points, and 4 point alone, who is linked are the 4 wheels, where it's like channels branches out radially like the spoke of umbrellas. And in the middle, visualize in the center of our body and the central channel. This central channel is very blue, and also it's like kind of the thinner, and nothing there is like obscuration is a representative of the Dharmakaya, we say it like this, and also clean. And then it itself is the joy and the Roma and the Choma, white and red. And these three are like this. Then there is kind of the 4 wheels of, there is like kind of the channels. 4 wheels is like the nail, heart, thyroid, and in the above, like head, like this. Then first, how many channels, like the wheel of the channels. At the level of your navel is the wheel of the like the manifestations. Manifestation, it is like kind of the more, it is how do you say, it's like emanating area. There is there is like the 64 radial channels turning upwards. Radial channel, it's like kind of, it looks like spoke of the umbrellas. They are like kind of the up like this. There is a 30, like a 64, and very easily you can to memorize. There's 64 normally. Then it's like 16, 8, and then 32, like this. 4 is first is like highest number. 64 radial channel is like a candle turning upward. That is the manifestation level, which is the navel. And at the level of your heart is the wheel of the Dharma with 8 radial channels turning downward. It is like this. This from the heart level is like a 8 channel, like a kind of the turning downward to like this. And then in the thyroid levels, in your throat, is the wheel of the enjoyment. There is kind of the explanation why it says the wheel of the Dharma, why you can just the wheel of the manifestation, why you say the wheel of the enjoyment. There are like kind of, if you look at the Garyangaba and some others, there's maybe more you can to need to detail these things. And this is the name and the meaning. There is such, we have, maybe you can to get information from the Mr. Google or some others. Okay, why you call the wheel of the manifestation, why you call like kind of the Dharma, wheel of Dharma, like kind of, and why you call it's like kind of the enjoyment. This is 16 radial channels turning upward. In the thyroid is upward, and then of course in the head is 32, and 16 radial like channels turning upward. That's then in the crown of your head. It is the wheel of the great bliss, with the 32 radiant channels turning downwards. Then it's like principally 3 channels, central channel of the Oma and Roma and Choma, these 3. And then it's like kind of the in the middle there is a 4 wheel of channels, and the manifestation channel, and the Dharma channel and enjoyment channel, and then it's like a bliss channel. This like a force, like each one is like this. Then this all is like nita coming through the central channel, and then slowly to fill up all the nitas. And then our body is externally, inner, everything is like white, like a crystal, transparent, lucidity. Because then now there is no any more obscurations, because all the negative actions like them. Then nita then start to flow down again as the before said. And nita is like continually to like down again. And first you like kind of visualize these channels, and then nitas continue doping through the central channels, beginning with the wheel of the great bliss. First time you fill up of the top and the like a crown levers the channel, great bliss at the crown of your head. Then completely fill the central channel and each of four wheel, and then is the spread outward feelings or entire body, the tip of your fingers and toes. Everything is like there is almost nothing kind of the left. Everything's filled up by the nitas, and that is we need to like kind of the visualize like this. Then it's like we would say it's like when we are nita through the like coming, and first fill up, we can to say the crown channel, the great bliss. At that moment, what we need think that you are received the four empowerment. The first you fill up the channel of the ground, then is the vast empowerment, and then is like the in the middle in the enjoyment is the secret, like kind of secret empowerment, and then hard level is the wisdom empowerment, navel is the precious word empowerment. This is like a kind of the most highest the empowerment, vast secret empowerment and wisdom and the precious word empowerment. And these four channels fill up, we kind of receive the four empowerment. These four empowerments to purify the four obscurations. You are also purified of the four karmic obscuration, as we studied already. Then it's like the kind of the obscurations. First, the karmic obscuration. Second, the obscuration of the negative emotion. Third one is the obscuration, the conceptual obscuration. And fourth one, obscuration of the habitual tendencies. This is like kind of recording the four channels. Feel each one is up, and each up which we kind of receive the empowerment. Each empowerment we received, we are purified each obscurations. And this is already we kind of symbolically to studied. Here is like a karmic obscuration. Already we studied karmic obscuration. It's like very shortly we can to say there is like a natural karmic obscuration and violation of Buddha's edict, karmic obscuration. And through this we done like according to like 10 negative actions, so on. Then nyonmo like kind of the obscuration of the like negative action means, of course, main like kind of the 84,000 negative emotions. And also it's like kind of we can to say the 5 poisons negative emotions, like a kind of anger, jealousy, and hatred, so on. And this everything resume into like kind of the negative emotion. It means the improper conceptuals, and this kind of to making the obscuration like actions to make the obscurations. And then it's a conceptual obscurations. Conceptual obscurations, we do not understand like the three supreme methods or three supreme spheres, like kind of the object, subject, between there's you like whatever you do something is like not enhanced by the wisdoms, the empty natures. You remember we have studied at the beginning there's three supreme methods, and this is like how do you say three supreme methods, and other is a three supreme sphere or something, and there's another one. This is like wisdom. This is like we call the conceptual obscurations, and then it's the obscuration of the habitual tendencies. It is like kind of the subtle, and like a subtle of the in the sutta perspective, the subtle of the cognitive obscuration. In the tantric perspective, this obscuration of the habitual tendencies is like the three experience of the transformations. That means it's like there's the three subtle, non sum po pachal in Tibet, non sum po pachal. This kind of very, very subtle habitual tendencies, this is subtly we do not understand like this. More cognitive, like some is like lack of the wisdoms, like this kind of the obscurations, like to purified. And then same time as when like kind of the purified like fill up the four channels, received the four empowerment, purified the four obscurations, and also it's like same time as we are kind of the great arise, like kind of the inner extraordinary experience like occurring. For example, the wisdom of the four joy arises in use. Joy, supreme joy, extraordinary joy, and innate joy. This is like kind of the joy. Maybe it's like kind of the when we are under the path. It's like the cross the path of the accumulations. When you are rich in the path of the junctions, you have there's a four, like a kind of the warmth and peak and forbearance and supreme dharma. Like a kind of the heat is like that means maybe kind of the joy, and because you are reaching, you are like kind of the same. And also supreme joy, maybe you already into the path of the seeings, extraordinary like kind of. Then afterwards is like externally extraordinary joy. It is like kind of the to reach into the enlightenment, the path of the no more learnings. Then innate kind of joy means it's like you like kind of the reach your own state, nature, realities. That is like kind of innate your joy. This is like kind of the peace. This is like the uncontrived natural state, and you kind of be. This is like kind of the gava, like the wisdom of the four joy arise naturally, and also it's like you kind of the make the four seed same time as you kind of the by the like kind of the dropping nethers fill up all your central channels, principally four central channels, and they fill up. You receive the four empowerment, purify the four obscuration, and receive or purify the four obscurations, and also arousing the four wisdom joys, and also to make the four seeds of the level of the 4 kayas are established. This seed in your dasa. Nirmanikaya and Sambhogakaya and Dharmakaya and Svipakaya. Svipakaya. Svavihikaya. This 4 kayas. And it's the Nirmanikayas. Nirmanikaya is like emanating. Nirmanikaya is like kind of more our levels. Like for example, Supreme Nirmanakaya is like Buddha. Varieties of the Nirmanakaya, there's many different, like even the Nirmanakaya sometimes food, clothes, shuttle, bridge, animal, tree, rock, many. Therefore, Nirmanakaya is different type of the Nirmanakayas, 5. Then the Sambhogakayas, principally there's 5 Buddha families. They are like kind of included to the normally Rupakayas, form kayas. Then is the Dharmakaya, is the essential nature, the nature of the realities. It's the kind of our own nature realized. Then the Savavikaya is the unification of all, is like kind of the embodiment of the 4 kayas. And there is, of course, there is sometimes 5 kayas, enlightened kaya, there is it, but this 4 kayas. Then it's like this 4 is how it's like synchronized. This is very important. This is like kind of, we call the based empowerment and based purifications, based like kind of the making the seed. And on the path, how we can to purify it, how we can to receive, and then finally how it's like kind of the we received empowerment, how we purified it. Based groundly, maybe you're like kind of externally supporter of your teachers to give you empowerment, and you receive the real, like rely on the substantially mandala, vase, you drink water, something is like kind of the from humans to human you receive. This is like ground, like kind of empowerment. In the path, you are like kind of the empowerment of the path. You need to receive your own self, like kind of any kind of guru yogas. You remember, like the end, you receive the empowerment for empowerment. This is like kind of every day you can you make yourself to give empowerment. And then it's like same time as you purified, and also it's like make the seed. Then it's the finally, eventually empowerment, when you become enlightenment, you across the path of the normal learning. That time is all the 10 directions Buddhas and kind of the sending to you, and the luminosity empowerment finally is like kind of revitalized you, praise to you, Bodhisattva. There's one enlightened is coming to say, that time we receive the luminosity empowerment. Like this, then now is our, during the, when is after that we received like external empowerment, then ourselves every day when you practice VAJRASATTVA or Guru Yogas, you should concern that you should to receive yourself empowerment. Very, very important. Every day you can to take empowerment. This is like kind of, you don't need to put mandalas, this is like kind of visualizations. Through that you can to receive the empowerment. Like this Sambhogakayas, Savavikayas, then is there the recite the prayer beginnings, or protect in ignorance and confusions. And this is like kind of Wangpo don Mishimo by Tamsilin and Gahinyans. This kind of the Hyonshi Topanzet, so there's in the our Lonchinhinti longer Hundru chances was this. There is this recitation prayers you should to do. The end is the beginning you cleanse and you're purified, and purified means until there we need to purify. That is the very much important word. It's called imagine that the moment you recite this line, the teacher Vajrasattva is delighted. This is like a kind of the confession word, and like kind of the regret, and you are like kind of remorse word, and then it's like to ask this Vajrasattva, or like kind of the visualize, and then finally like Vajrasattva, like smiling, great your prayer with this word, and how it is the Vajrasattva's reply it. We imagine like this: fortunate ones, good student, all your negative action obscurations, violent and breaches broken, like kind of samaya broken, like these things, breach, are the purified, like kind of the Vajrasattvas, like this kind of the giving the permission, give, receive, answer like this. He then melted into the light and dissolved into the ourself, or the you, so that you yourself are the now transformed into the Vajrasattva, just as you visualize him before it. That is like a kind of maybe it's sometimes yes exactly the same as visualized before and the above you visualize, but here is now it's like kind of the your self purification is finished, and you are being enlightenment benefit for the sentient beings. Now you are yourself is like Vajrasattva. Then you can visualize it with the consort or without consort. Here is like kind of the mention that you visualize him as the before and above. But here is like many is like a more pit instructions way is like a self like kind of Vajrasattva alone without the Vajrasattopa, and without consort like this. Then how you can visualize as yourself. Now you purification of the obscurations, you are same level of the Vajrasattva. That is very important. You need to concern, I am Vajrasattva. And visualize in his like heart, a moon disc, the size of the flat and must be exactly the same. This we don't need to repeat to say something is like same before other. And it's a central stand of blue. Now this is different. For example, before it's like when we are above Vajrasattva, in the center, the top of the moon disc size is the flattened mustard seed. On the top of there's later like a white home. Now in our own self like this, in the later is a blue home. Then it's like here is like more 6 syllable mantras. In the front of the home is a white syllable om benzas om. To its left is the word Vajra, yellow behind is in the red. Word in a yellow. Left is the word Vajra is yellow. Behind is a tori. Sun. So yes, in the red, some like some, and it is the red is the to. That is in the green. There is like kind of the 5 Buddha families representative: blue, white, yellow, red, and green. These like the 5 letters are the embodiment of the 5 Buddha families. As yourself is the embodiment of the 5 Buddha families, and yourself is the representative, all the unification of all the deities. Like this, then as you recite Vajrasattva Samadhi, Vajrasattva Jingu Samadhi, Benzasattva Hum, Benzasattva, Benzasattva Hum, 5 rays of the light, of course, white, and front, yellow is left, red is the back side, green in the left side, and blue in the all like a kind of the how do you say is the intermediate like kind of directions. In the blue is like more in the center and emanated from the respective syllable in upward directions. This before we said it's like we visualize the Vajrasattva on the, our crown. That time is first like on the moon lunar disk, later white, later appear. That time is we don't count of the sending later. But now it's like radiant, emanated like kind of the sending letters, respective like kind of the syllabus. What does it mean? Respective the like kind of the emanate from the respect syllabus. For example, later white and the luminosity white and yellow benza, and also it's like yellow luminosity. Red like candle sa, yellow luminosity to junk, and green to is green, and luminosity is like green. And then is the center home is the blue, luminosity sending blue. All this kind of 5 like the radiance light to up directions, and then is like at the end of this race. At the end of this race are the Lady of Beauty. Lady of Beauty is like kind of the offer lady, like kind of goddess. And the other offerings, goddess. And each one is holding some very much and spacious from their hand, like a kind of the emanate innumerable offering things, such as the 8 spacious symbols. And of course, this one is like a kind of what it is. Like when the enlightenment, Buddhas be enlightenment, then there are spatial like kind of the beings. They offer this very much kind of the auspicious. We have like kind of the 8 auspicious. This is like kind of the, you remember inside the vase, like kind of the flower and fish, like a golden fish, so on. That you can to look the 8 kind of the auspicious symbols. And not only that, there is the 7 royal attributes, like a kind of the royal attribute of the elephant, horse, and the minister, so on. That is also maybe you can too easily to each numbers. And then there is the front parasols. This is like kind of part of umbrella, very important. Victoria banners is also is like a Jansen. It is like kind of very special, like we have everybody each like kind of ancient times. Might be modern times different, but ancient times very important. And also it's like a kind of the canopies, also like a flat, and it's like head, also something very special, like kind of ornament. 1,000 spoken golden wheel. What conch? Golden wheel is like kind of very important things. For instance, when it's Buddha be enlightenment, then there is like kind of the Brahma or some important beings, kind of the broad, the golden wheel offered to the Buddha. Say, please, now it's very important to turn Dhamma wheel. And like this also is, therefore it's like to golden wheel is very important offerings. Like conch is the shell spring to the red, and like kind of normally this, but not white, different. This conch is very, very rare. But also is when it's a Buddha be enlightened, and another's like brought this kind of conch offered to says please to make dharma sound, to make this like kind of conch sound is like representative dharma sound, and so on. Then it's like this offering delight all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. It is the inconceivable, infinite pure field of the 10 directions. All the Buddha and Bodhisattvas, like wherever they dwell in the 10 directions, and your like luminosity radiance, and to reach to in the each field, and each field, how many Buddha and Bodhisattvas, each in the front of your luminosity, like yellow, white, red, and yellow, red, and greens, and each of these offerings, you are reached to them like this. And completely the accumulation and purifying your obscurations. And according that, like kind of the completed accumulations, it's like a accumulation of the merit and wisdoms, purified your like principle, like for obscurations, absolutely kind of nothing there is left. And then is like afterwards all the Buddhas compassion and blessing come steaming, say like the back in the form of the light rays of different color, which dissolves into the usage. You offered and kind of the like to please it to the Buddha and Bodhisattvas, and completely like kind of the make the happy or like offer things. You kind of the absolutely done this kind of accumulation merit, and then it's like this same time is Buddha and Bodhisattvas compassion and blessing is naturally received to in use. Light rays, like kind of the different, like 5 luminosities, and coming dissolved into the use. And then it's like we think that are the result. You attain the supreme and common accomplishment. Supreme accomplishment, you be completely enlightenment. This is supreme accomplishment. And the common accomplishment, there is like kind of different names. Maybe it's like kind of the you become the very fast. For example, it's like ancient times, some is like achieved the common siddhi, common accomplishment. For example, one day, like traveling from Tibet to India, one day is come back, like kind of fast. And it's kind of the supreme supernatural power as you can to received. You can to see on the treasure of the underground, like kind of the you can to see through the wall, rock, almost that kind of also you can to fly. This kind of common accomplishment. Uncommon supreme accomplishment is one is become enlightenment. The 4 levels of the Vajrasattva related to the path and the ultimate result, the state beyond learning. And in the kind of the Mantrayanas, like a path, it is the 4 Vajrasattva. The 4 levels of the Vajrasattva, and not the kind of talking the first path, second path. It's kind of included 5 paths, 10 bhumis, and we call the 4 levels of the Vajrasattva. The first level of the Vajrasattva, maturation. Then is like level of the Vajrasattva, long life. The level of the Vajrasattva, Mahamudra. And then level of the Vajrasattva of the spontaneous present. This is like kind of the 4 levels of the Vajrasattva. Then it's like each one we are like kind of the rich. maybe the maturation Vijdara and like kind of the long life Vijdara, they're a little bit kind of different explanations. Someone says like we are first is like kind of the long life Vijdara, and someone says like the maturation like kind of the Vijdaras, because it's like kind of more on the part of the accumulations, part of junctions is like more like kind of the maturations, like maturity means it's like purification. You need to maturate it, body, speech, mind, and therefore it's like more, this level is the maturation Vijdara, and the Vijdara of the long life may be part of the seeings. And part of the seeing means it's like that times you can control the like kind of the birth, death, and it's like kind of you are like a kind of the long life means it's like any times you can do whatever you want for the birth, death, this sort of, and overcome you can control your mind, and therefore long life Vijdaras. And then Mahamudra is like kind of the Vijdara of the Mahamudra. Maybe it's the path of the learning and like kind of the imitating the Mudra of the old Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, each like bhumis in the path of the meditations. And there is like 9 levels, bhumis, and each bhumi we are rich, we are many kind of the sentient beings can maturated, much like kind of the can see hundreds Buddha field, talk to the hundreds Buddhas like kind of directions, and therefore it's inconceivable activities. And like this, then is the Vijdara of the spontaneous present is a Landarinza. That is the maybe is like kind of the enlightenment, no more learning, that is related to the path, that is the like kind of the ultimate result, the state beyond learning. This like kind of the included 5 path and 10 bhumis through the level of the Vijdaras. Then is the visualization, establish the connection through the which you will realize the Dharmakaya levels and the benefit for yourself, that is. Then is like other benefit. All these things you are to preparing for you, for ours, to be ready act the benefit for the sentient beings. That is the very important things. Why? Because it's like at the moment we cannot help ourselves, and like kind of how we can to help others. First time, in order to become a great teacher, we need to put effort, we need to be learn, to study. Then you become the great teacher. Like this, in order to help sentient beings, we need to purify it. We need to become the authentic of the Buddha enlightenment. Like this, therefore we can say this, realize that Dharmakaya and benefit for yourself. Now need to visualize to other. Then it's like you be enlightenment. Then someone's like kind of the like kind of urge to you to say, please, now to not to be lazy. There's now you need to. It's a time to act to the benefit for the sentient beings. Therefore, then visualize that innumerable hundreds of the thousands of multicolored light rise, shot out down, like more lower from the 5 cylinder from your heart, and like a kind of touching all living beings dwell in the 6 realms of the 3 world. 6 realms is like 3 lower realms, hell, hungry, and animal realms. And 3 is like a more superior realms, human, demigod, and God realms. This is the 6 realms. The 3 world is like kind of the universal 6 realms, is like kind of the desire, form, and formless realms. And this is like kind of sentient beings. We are touched our like kind of your energy, luminosity, compassion, your luminosities to touch them, and purified all the negative actions, those sentient beings, obscurations, sufferings, habitual tendencies, just like the light of the rising sun dispelling darkness. Absolutely. Maybe there is one old house inside so many different things, but it's too thick, dense darkness there is. But it's like kind of certainly one light is open, turn on, and then everything is clearly. Like this, you are sending the luminosities, the darkness of the six realms, the three word. It's like to make the like a day, and to clearly to see. Also, it's like the darkness of the ignorant, darkness of the sentient beings, confusions. You dispel, like kind of spelled, or like eliminated to them. And then it's like all of them is become the Buddha, Bodhisattva, or Vajrasattva, same as yourself. Like kind of all your front sentient beings, Vajrasattva like kind of white, and your red directions, all the sentient beings become the yellow Vajrasattvas. And the back your directions, all the sentient beings become the red Vajrasattvas. And the left, all directions, the sentient beings, and transform into the green Vajrasattvas. Between, in the middle, all sentient beings is like kind of become the blue Vajrasattvas. And like this, kind of the like respectively colors, and all the like sentient beings become like this. Then is some sentient beings like belong the Vajra family, Vajrasattva family. Some sentient beings is belong the Vajrasattva, yellow Vajrasattvas families. Some sentient beings, the red Vajrasattvas families. Some sentient beings also is like green the Vajras families. Some sentient beings is like blue Vajrasattvas. All of them is like different situation, different type of things. Everything is like kind of transformed into the Vajrasattvas, like this kind of. And then it's like you purified to them the negative action, obscuration, suffering, habitual tendency. Everything is like kind of you like dispel the all day like kind of the darkness. And then is the whole universal sentient beings, the six realms, wherever double sentient beings become the Buddha field, like a Vajrasattva's Buddha field of the manifested joy. Manifested joy is like more Vajrasattva's in the like kind of the Buddha fields. And all being within are that transform into the white, yellow, red, green, and blue Vajrasattva. That is already like I said that. And then recite the mantra that imagine that all of the 10 are the pronouncing the mantra Om Benza Sato Hon. That is like a kind of the you are raised like luminosity, touched the sentient beings. They are become the different color of the Vajrasattvas. They also immediately, like same as you are together, like says Om Benza Saton's immense, like kind of the humming sound. That means it's like how many? There's countless sentient beings. Sometimes you like kind of recite the mantras together. This visualization established the connection through the which you will attain the Rupakaya and benefit others. Rupakaya means is the Rupakaya unification of Dharmakaya and Dhammakaya, Sambhogakaya and the Namanikaya. And this is like kind of we call the Rupakaya, form kaya. And like this, form kaya is like more your luminosity aspect, is like kind of the more benefit for others, like this. And therefore it is very important to recite, to have the visualize. There is like kind of the Chusha Pacharondo, I think Masha she put it something there is like the peaceful and wrathful deities, the pronounced Dharma of self-liberation, wisdom, mind. This is like kind of, how to say, comes from in the Kalni Shoto. Concerning this type of the visualization, the Dharma practice that spontaneously liberated habitual tendencies says, how it says, bring benefit to oneself and others by emanating and reabsorbing. This is like kind of emanating. You emanating is like kind of you emanated to upper and down. Upper you emanated your light and you offered to Buddha Bodhisattvas. You done two accumulations. And also it's like you reabsorbing light. You collected them. You yourself is like kind of the receive blessing, compassion blessing. You yourself to purify it. You are become the Dharmakayas yourself. And you again you can to emanating to the six Dharamas or the three word and to purify all the sentient beings' obscurations and also it's like transform into the different Vajrasattvas. And again reabsorbing to light into you, and you finally you become the like representative of all the sentient beings Vajrasattvas like this. Therefore, here is very important. He said, bring benefit to the oneself and others. Like emanating is the benefit yourself, and the other is like reabsorbing light. There's both times you are making benefit this. One is a cleansed of the conceptual obscurations and conceptual obscurations, like conceptual obscuration, like a kind of the conceptually we like kind of the wrong and like mistake things. This kind of obscuration is we are purified. And using such visualization practice, the skillful means of the secret mental yana, mental vajra, enable one to accumulate inconceivable amount of the merit and wisdom in an instant. That is correct. Therefore we call the Vajrayana. Therefore we call it's a Vajra, it's the diamond. And therefore it's like profundity. Therefore we call the great perfections. Therefore it's like kind of the inner ultimate teaching direct. Like small like kind of different methods is like kind of skillful and means. And one small things is like doing completely accumulations, inconceivable amount of the accumulation merit, accumulation of the wisdoms. Therefore, like kind of one like picosecond, and like we can to do like this, while simultaneously benefit all living creatures through all the universe. That's very, very important things. Yeah. Okay, we can do 5-10 minutes. Stop. Coffee, chai.